area, which is still a major pain, is our non-existent living room that has served as a workshop so far. And I mean, we have a lot of priorities now to do in summer. However, we want to slowly but surely also get started on a living room, just because for this winter we'd love to have the living room ready to go. And as you can see, it's far from ready. One thing to note, as I said before, I mean, the living room, we're not going to change that much in theory. There's a couple of things to do. I mean, the same as every room here, obviously we want to change the wallpaper, and we need to, you know, get new electrical wires here, and this is basically the work that we have to be doing. That being said, afterwards, in this room, we are going to change the floor. We're not going to change it, we're going to kind of build on it. So we're going to increase the height on the floor by about 5 centimeters, due to the fact that, honestly, I don't want to be taking off the tiles. I think they're fine so far. I'll be putting a layer on it to insulate against water, so dampness coming from the ground, and obviously also the cold, because it's very cold floor here. So a very thin layer of insulation, 2 centimeters, and then on top I'll be putting some floorboards, so a wooden floor. So, how to get started? I was kind of thinking, okay, I'm gonna cut the trenches to put the new plugs and the electricity first, but I kind of ran into the trouble to have to move all these massive things. For instance, those windows and doors that I still need to install. So I figured maybe I should start off with doing something that is gonna unclutter a little bit the whole place. And well, the task that I've kind of been trying to procrastinate and push forward is removing this window end wall to fit in basically big glass doors that are gonna lead directly onto the terrace. So this is gonna be a major thing to do, and particularly because from the outside there is a huge concrete kind of flower bed that was built onto the house that evidently needs to go as well before I can get cracking on the wall. So let me show you that. So this massive structure needs to go, and then I can start and cut the wall and see where I land. Obviously also it's not going to be that easy, because those, they're actually proper armed concrete, really hard to cut. Today I'm going to be testing one of those massive Vevor demolition hammers, electric one, and yeah, I'm really interested to see how that's going to work.
Done! I've got it finally. I'm done with the rain.
Alright, so as you saw, you're not in the picture, come in. So our friend Siri is in town from Berlin, and
Hi guys.
she she actually came to do some gardening, but she didn't feel satisfied with the gardening results. So she wanted to pull down the biggest wall we had to pull down at this house so far.
True.
She did a little bit overestimate it though. She figured she just hits it a couple of times with a hammer and it comes down, and I think it turned out to be a little harder than that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Especially with a big tool, it's pretty heavy. But yeah, I think it worked out quite well, and Nico is
Messing around with one screw.
yeah, he's messing around with the screw because we actually had the idea of, I mean, we did it with all the windows, trying to take them out in a careful manner in order to be able to reuse them at some other point, for instance for the greenhouse that I already talked about. And yeah, so we're pretty much done there. Then it's next steps are basically cleaning up the corners, making sure we are all nice and level, and then closing it up again with some cement. And as you can see left and right, there are still some parts to take off from the garden bed that was there before. I think we'll get to that soon. But for now, let's clean this rebel up.
Just took us a few hours.
Yeah, max a few hours.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Stay tuned. So I told you guys, it's always a zero waste policy. So here's a good one. This kind of concrete, we can do it into small bits. We're gonna use it as gravel underneath the, parking space that we're doing upstairs. And this iron from ironing this, just gonna use it for the next concrete pour I have. I'll chuck it right back in. All right, there you go, zero waste, all recycled. There you have it. It's clean, it's cut. Now, basically what I'm thinking of doing is, obviously, bit of water over it for a better grip, and then I might do like a really thin grip layer, and then, yeah, basically gonna fill it up again with concrete here, because I'm gonna do it ground level. So that the doors are sitting on it, because of course here there will still come another wooden floor, which is gonna raise the whole thing by around 4.5 centimeters. And this means that the door that will open inward is gonna be close to the floor, and we won't have such a big of a step through. Alrighty. Alright, so the rough part is done. We kind of close up the wall again with concrete. However, we want to do it a little bit smoother before painting. Don't know if you say it, because it was obviously very difficult to get the same kind of texture here, where we kind of took this sort of garden bed off the wall that was concrete into it. Yeah, so we're gonna do the last kind of thin smoothing layer, and then we'll paint it. As you can see, the wooden frame is already in, and once that is dried and we painted it, then we're probably gonna stick the window in. All right, so let's get to it. So we're at the final stage of this new window, and just to give you maybe a quick rundown on how we did it, it's obviously the size of the previous window we wanted to keep, or just kind of orientate ourselves on this size when cutting the wall down, was smaller than the windows I got. I mean, I know you can get some custom sized ones, and then there were some kind of big sliding ones, but all things considered, just in terms of availability, delivery times, and obviously also the cost considerations, the best option was for me to just buy two standard size 220 times 110 centimeter windows. They're going to be basically opening in both directions, but this also means that there's going to be some kind of fixation in the middle. I don't mind it. I don't need to open both of them mostly at the same time. I just want to have more light in the room and an exit point essentially. And this is, however, we had to lose a bit of in terms of width since the window was larger. And this is what we did now by basically adding some kind of wooden frame. It's an oak frame around it. And there was one further thing. There was obviously the height. First I thought of just putting basically an oak closing point up there, but I mean, it does lose light. And why lose light if you can basically have more light? So I just used one of the windows. That's still a spare window I got from somebody who get them a giveaway in Germany, and luckily enough, it just had pretty much perfectly the right sizes, because this is tempered glass, you can't cut it later. And so we built it into the frame up here, and once this was in place, we basically started putting the frames in. I mean, so in theory now the doors work, the frame is in. However, we obviously want to do a nice kind of finish, closing it up. And Nico went all in here with his amazing Festool domino machine, kind of getting really everything fitted into each other. So this is some serious precision work, as you can already see on this side. So it's not nice yet, but we have prepared all the parts here and they're ready to go in. And from this side, you already see how it's basically become. Alright, so you see here, sanded it down, putting a new layer of basically to sort of a concrete glue on top of it. Here I haven't done it yet, so you still see the stones, sanded them down to a nice shape, and I'll basically do that now. And here we actually close up with a steel plate that we then build on. Alright, so now this one already looks pretty good. Finished the stove so far. It's just you still have the raw steel plate here. And now it's going to become a little bit tricky because what I need to do is actually cut this big tile that I bought exactly into the shape of that table, I'm going to call it, in front of the stove. So here we are. Wish me luck. Hope it will turn out like this and not explode or something.